enough about that. Now, I want to announce that we are in the fourth segment of our current series, mini-series. That means that we're kind of beginning to wrap things up. We'll be moving towards closing out the series, maybe next week. We'll see. But this morning, have I got a treat for you. Everybody say, quick review. Quick review. Yeah, quick review. No, I mean it. Quick review. In fact, I'm only going to go over just a few little terms, and then we're going to move on. Quick review. Some interconnected terms that have to do with wisdom, wisdom being one, that we find in the Bible. How many of you know that there's three interconnected terms that we've been talking about? Three. The first one is knowledge. Everybody say knowledge. Knowledge. What is knowledge in its simplest form? You remember? Information, facts. You say it. Data. Okay. Who said data? Okay. I'm going with it. I'm not saying data. Data. So obviously there's more advanced definition to knowledge, but this is in its basic form. Quick review. Everybody say quick review. All right. Understanding, that's the second term. What is understanding? It's the ability to perceive the meaning of information. In other words, you decode information. You interpret information and data in its basic form. Number three, wisdom. Everybody say wisdom. All right, now here's where it gets a little more involved, more complex. Wisdom, I'll give you three ideas of definitions. Number one, wisdom is to be able to utilize. You utilize and you put to work ideas, strategies, information. You put them to work to bring about a desired conclusion. That's wisdom. Better say that again. Utilizing and putting to work ideas and concepts, information, to bring about a desired effect or a conclusion. That's wisdom. You could say it this way. To use knowledge and understanding, those two previous ones, together for benefit and to bring about an end result. All right, let's move to the second one. To have insight and to recognize the purposes. Insight to recognize the purposes and actions that produce something. Is there a tissue nearby, or you have one up your sleeve? To have insight, recognize the purposes and actions that produce something. Are you tracking with me? Yes. Three, here's your third one. I love this one. To be able to realize a future outcome before it's able to be seen. I'll say that again. Oh, thank you. We should make him an usher. Yeah. That guy can do it all. Thank you. All right. The third one is to be able to realize a future outcome before it's able to be seen. This would be an inventor. Inventors have wisdom, amen? All right, so we gave you an example. I love this example. Somebody hands you a fire starting kit. You're on the lake shore of Lake Superior, and they hand you this little bag. And on the bag it says, fire starting kit. This will illustrate knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. First of all, knowledge. Fire starting kit. Fire is useful, right? You can cook with it, you can heat with it, so you know that. That's knowledge. Fire is good. It can be good. What about understanding? You look inside the bag, and you see a rock, and this black, crinkled up paper, and a piece of metal, and the instructions. And so understanding is knowing that these pieces all work together. You don't take the rock and go, oh, a flat rock. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like, no, you don't do that. Amen. And you don't crinkle up the instructions and say, yeah, I'm going to use that for fire. That's understanding. You recognize, you interpret, you encode what these things, you know that they're used for some purpose. And here's wisdom. Reading the instructions. Men, pay attention. Sorry. Reading the instructions first. So you read the instructions and you follow the directions, man. You take the little flint rock and the little striker and you place it over the black crumpled up paper and you, and all of a sudden a spark lands on you and you go, oh. So then you have to get it all over again. It's like, no, blow gently. Oh, okay. All of a sudden, now you can throw the instructions in there. Don't do that first. That's wisdom. Amen? All right. That's the end of the review. Say yay! Today, in segment 4, we're going to talk about wisdom in an amazing way. I would think we could say safely that these are the wow factors of God. Talking about His wisdom. We're talking about divine wisdom, not human wisdom, and certainly not rock bottom demonic wisdom. That's good for nothing. Amen? So we're going to talk about the benefits to divine wisdom. Now, careful. I don't want you to be giving me the Welda response. Say, what's that? I don't want you to say, as we go through this list, well, that doesn't sound so profound. Well, duh. That's the Welda response. Well, duh. I had you. Because we're going to go through this list of the benefits of wisdom, but you need to pay attention. This is not what some man has said. This is not man's idea. When God tells us and speaks through His Word, this is what He says, not some man. When He talks, you ought to sit up. Don't listen to this list and go, well, duh, I think I knew that. Don't give Him a well, duh response. I want you to get a fresh look. I got to tell you, as I was preparing for this, I'm thinking the benefits of wisdom. Well, I know a few. I remember reading the scriptures. Money in my left hand, if you've gone through the scriptures, and I'm thinking, yeah, there's some really good things. But then I began to write them down and go through. And I was amazed. Look at this list. I am amazed. And you're going to be amazed this morning. You say, yeah. No Welda response from me. As we go through this list, this is what I want you to think about. If we get into an area and you think to yourself, you know what, I'm lacking in this area. This is what I want you to think. You are lacking what in this area? Wisdom. If you are lacking in a certain area, guess what? You are lacking wisdom in that area. And one of two things probably has happened. Perhaps you had some wisdom in this area, but you've kind of drifted from it. I mean, that's possible. You had some wisdom operating, but you have departed from it. Or it's this. You just need the next revision level. Let me say it over here. You just need the next revision level. That's all. So that's important. Lacking wisdom in that area, you just need the next revision level. You see, when we receive wisdom, oftentimes, the majority of times, it'll come in the novice level. It'll be basic. Basic wisdom. Here's the important part. You don't look at that and go, don't spit on things. That's not the proper response. You receive that wisdom and you thank God for it. And guess what? If you use that wisdom, put it to work, what will happen? He will give you more. Amen? You have to make sure you don't respond, well, I want the whole enchilada. I want the top shelf wisdom. I want shock and awe. It's like, down, boy, down. Just let him give you the wisdom that he gives you. Don't you dictate to God, I need something else. I'll slap you. It's being a good steward. And the biblical principle is that God is progressive. If you use what little he gives you, he will give you more. So keep all of this in mind. If you despise it, what's going to happen? She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Does that song mean anything to you? Round the mountain you go. Don't expect anything from the Lord. If you don't receive it with the right heart, okay. So during the list, we haven't got to the list yet, but sometime during the list, your spirit may say to you on the inside, did you hear that? You need to pay attention to your spirit. As we go through this list, something may jump out to you. Something may become evident to you. You know what? I'm lacking in that area. I need some more wisdom. Yeah, that's it. I can put my finger on it. So we're going to go through the list. We haven't started the list yet. Quit being impatient. And here's what I'm going to do. There's such a long list that I picked out or selected 3 that I believe are really common areas to all of us. And we're going to give chapter and verse for these. And the rest of them, you're on your own. I'm going to give you a list and leave it up to you if you want to research the scriptures. You'll just have to take my word for it. Pastors will not lie in church. So let's look at the first area this morning. We're going to look in the book of Proverbs, which is an excellent source of wisdom. So here in verse 20 of Proverbs 1, I just want you to see who's speaking, because when it references in the next verse, it's going to say, is speaking. We need to know what's speaking or who. Wisdom crieth out without, she uttereth her voice. So who's speaking? This is a personification. Come on, work with me here. Who's speaking? Wisdom. All right, next verse, verse 33. Whosoever hearkeneth unto me, who's me? Wisdom, shall what? Dwell safely, that's one, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. Let's touch on these for a minute, because this is so broad. And I believe it really speaks to all of us generally. Dwell safely. Dwell in safety. Think about that for a minute. What does that mean? It means the intent of God is this. This is what his intent is. You see if it's good or not. That you would be free from harm and danger. That's the intent of this, of his wisdom. That you would dwell safely. That you would be free from harm or danger. Think of ISIS. Think of the news now, Ebola. You know, they took a poll of young adults and they said that their greatest fear that they think about is nuclear war. That's what I said. Wow. I wouldn't have picked that for the top one. To dwell safely or dwell in safety. This is one of the benefits of wisdom. We're just starting the list. Or to, look at the bottom, be quiet from fear. Do you think fear is prevalent in our society? I started trying to Google percentages. It's like, they have no clue. Social phobia is 5% of all of the population. That's all I could find. Everything else is, there's just pieces and pieces of different kinds of fear. Fear is prevalent in the modern existence. This is something that will touch just about every life. If not fear, some kind of phobia, what about the fear of man? What he's going to think? Has that ever skewed your behavior? Maybe as a Christian? Fear. And so what is the intent of God through wisdom? To be free from fear. Wow. This is just the beginning. I was already getting so excited. I thought, this is wonderful. And tied into this is so cool. This is all just the first one. Look at Proverbs 3:24. I hear so much of this, and you do too. When you lie down, think about this benefit. Thou shalt not be afraid. Yes, you shall lie down, and your what? Your sleep will be sweet. I have heard so many times from so many different people, I can't sleep. Just having a tough time sleeping. That's why we're visiting this. Wisdom given by God, the intent of God is that your sleep would be sweet. Give her a tissue, will you? No, I'm just kidding. All right, stay focused, Pastor Mike. Okay, I'm focused. This touches so many lives. We ought to go to the scriptures and find out what the benefits of God are just through wisdom. Oh, woo! All right, I'm so excited. Proverbs 2. Let's go to the second one. Proverbs 2. 2 verses, 6 and 7. For the Lord giveth wisdom. We visited this in the very first segment because these are the three interconnecting terms. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge, understanding, and we see wisdom. 7. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. How many of you righteous? He is in the King James is italicized, is got brackets on it. That means that the translator inserted that so that we could understand this verse better. Take it out of there. Let's read it with that taken out of there. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. Let me do it again, I messed it up. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous, a buckler to them that walk uprightly. So the proper interpretation is that wisdom is a buckler. How many of you used the word buckler in the last 7 days? No. So you're looking at this word going, wisdom is a buckler. Oh, good. Buckler, is that somebody to help you with a belt? Ba-da-boom. What's a buckler? When Captain John Somerville was here 2 years ago, he's an ex-military man, he visited this. And he told us that, here's a buckler. A buckler is a shield. So when you think about a shield, though, if you're facing a whole enemy army and they've got arrows pointed at you, you want a big shield, tall. Big, tall shield that you can stand behind. Okay, ready? Fire! But that's not the shield that a buckler is. That's not a buckler. Not the big, tall shield. A buckler is something that you carry on your arm. You hold at arm's distance. It's a smaller shield. So if you're facing a whole army of enemy and they've got arrows pointed at you, you don't want to be holding your buckler only. A buckler is for daily use. It's something that you would carry every day, that you would never be without. A buckler is for protection. A buckler is for defense. You have it constantly. Get the picture here. Wisdom is a buckler. Wisdom is something you should carry daily. Wisdom will be protective like a shield. Wisdom will defend you. We're on number 2. Okay. This is good. Proverbs 2, 8, and 9. There's 2 verses after this. 2, 8, and 9. He, meaning who's talking? Wisdom. God intends wisdom. Keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the way of his saints. Say it again. Keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the way. Paths and way. Verse 9, then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yea, every good path. Here's point 3. A benefit of wisdom. God's intention is wisdom be your tour guide. Thank you. Wisdom is your tour guide for every good path. Get the intention of God. The wisdom has been given to you for your tour guide for every good path. So what's a tour guide? What's so cool about that? A tour guide, if you think about it, will heighten the efficiency of your travels. Let me say that again. Heighten the efficiency of your travels. When Sally and I went to Thunder Bay, we went over to look at this falls, and you can't get the whole view from this one perch, so you want to go farther away from the falls. So we did. We walked, and there's a trail, and this lady just happened to be coming down the trail, and she said this, "You going to see the falls?" Duh. Well, duh. I could have given her a well, duh response. And she said, "I just came back. Don't take the long way. It's an extra 15 minutes out of your way. Just take this way." And it just goes right to the edge of the cliff. You can see the falls. How cool is that? That heightens the efficiency. You don't waste time. We didn't have an extra 15 minutes out of our way. It's like, nice trees. Where are we? Just keep following the path. So a tour guide, and you know what we do? As soon as the tour guide's out of sight, I got this. We sneak out on our own. I can do this. Oh, don't look at me like you don't do that. Yeah. No. Tour guide, wisdom. But I want you to understand something too about this pathway, the path and ways that it's talking about here. Once you get on that, it's not automatic. Ding, I'm in. Everywhere I go, people want to know. That's a different movie. It's not automatic. It has to be continually traveled. You have to constantly decide that you want to stay on this path. And you have to be behind your tour guide. You can't be leading your tour guide. It's like, come on. How dumb would that be? So the tour guide. What does a tour guide do? What does wisdom do? First of all, it'll confirm. Is this the right way? Oh, yeah. Are you sure? Yep. It'll confirm you're on the path. A tour guide will advise. You know what? It's getting dark. Listen. Talking spiritually, your tour guide. Things are getting dark. Let's take some precautions. What a great tour guide. A tour guide will correct to you. Oh, no, don't go that way. A tour guide will coach you. Come on, you're capable with me. We can do this. This is wisdom. This is God's intent. To coach you. Wisdom will be a trainer. A tour guide can be a trainer. This will build you up. Come on, step it up. All of this is wisdom. We're only on the third item for the list. Come on. How many of you ready for the list? This was going to blow you out of the water. And God's intent is this. He wants to wow us with this list. This is His list, not man's. And when you see this list, it's going to be a wow. This is what wisdom and the intent of God is for us through wisdom. Wow. How many of you are ready to be wowed? Yes. Where will wisdom lead you? What are the benefits of wisdom? Number one, into justice. I just picked these out of the Word. All of these things are random. They're not necessarily in importance, in order. But wisdom will lead you into justice. What is just and right? There's a benefit. Wisdom will lead you into judgment. making a good judgment, a good choice. The intent of God is for us to make good choices. I'd say that's a pretty good benefit. No welda here. Number 3, into equity. What is fair? How many of you want to do what is fair and right? Get some wisdom. That's good, Charlie. I'm happy. Amen. Number 4, into truth. Wisdom will lead you into truth. Wow, the truth. How's that for a tour guide? Number 5, discretion. How many of you need a little more discretion? What do you mean, Pastor? When you should not say something, when it's not the right time. Stick foot in mouth. That's what we're talking about. Discretion. Wisdom will lead you into discretion. Wow. Here's a good one. You'll love this. Number 6, awareness. Wisdom will lead you on the path of awareness. Oh. It's just like when things are in darkness, and all of a sudden the dawn of light begins to pervade, and you begin to see things. I didn't see that. Where'd that come from? Was that there all the time? That's awareness. What else will wisdom lead us into? Number 7, into counsel. Have you thought about this? Don't you wish wisdom would tap you on the shoulder and say, have you really thought this through? Have you really thought about this? Yeah. Have you really? Okay, what? Counsel. Here's the one that you'll love. Into promotion. How many of you want promotion? Wisdom will lead you into promotion. Think about these benefits. Wow. To be promoted. Promotion. Oh, here's one you'll not like. Into correction. Don't go there. Don't do that. No, you want that. Don't you want correction? Don't you want the benefit of God? And the intent of God to keep you from danger and from harm? We need wisdom. How many of you need wisdom? We're doing good. How about number 10? Security, peace, happiness. She got them all on there. How many of you like security? How many of you like peace? How many of you like happiness? Wisdom will lead you into all of those areas. I just combined them. Let's move on. Into light. Wisdom will lead you into revelation. How cool is that? I need more revelation. You are lacking wisdom then in that area. Where can I find it? Not at Walmart. If we at the end of the session, we'll talk about where do you get this wisdom? Where do you get this stuff? Number 12. Writing them down. Into preservation. Wisdom will lead you to preservation. Wisdom will lead you to preserve your body. Don't eat that. Stay away from that joint. La, I know. Yeah. Next week. Next week I'm going on a diet. Wisdom. Wisdom wants us preserved. The intent of God, preserve you. Live in safety. Don't eat so much you just explode. Don't eat the wrong kinds of things. And not just your physical body, your mind, your emotions, so you don't go wacko. Wisdom will not lead you into wacko. Wisdom will lead you out of wacko. Wacko is in Texas. No, I'm just kidding. Ba-da-boom. Next on the list. Are you getting this? The favor of the Lord. Wisdom will lead you into this place where you meet the favor of God. I'm just getting goosebumps. This is awesome. I told you when I'm looking at this list going, this is amazing. The favor of God. You're not enjoying the favor of God so much? Guess what you're lacking wisdom in? Hello. 14. And we didn't include the first 3. Did you know wisdom is called a tree of life? I was blown away by this. Wisdom will lead you, and it's called a tree of life. You can pick the fruit, eat it. Oh. Starting the wisdom of God. One more. Number 15, he said, prosperity will lead you into prosperity. Blessing.